please. Hold, 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 please.
How about now? Sounds working now? Uh, ooh, I just heard me in stereo, so I know it's working now. Okay, we are back on. Phew, sorry for the technical difficulties, but welcome to Bella After Dark. In case you have never been here before, hi. I'm downstairs. I usually am in my upstairs studio doing this, but I'm trying out something different this time, which is why we're having a little bit of difficulty in filming. But that's because I'm downstairs where the signal is stronger, so that the video can be a little clearer and a little crisper, and the sound should be all good now. Thank you. All right, so woo-saw, everyone. This was a tough one. This was a tough one from beginning to end, meaning the 2024 election. We've had a lot of twists and turns. You think the Bella coaster is bad, you should have seen the 2024 election, because that was a lot of twists and turns and flip-flops. So the country has spoken, and it's not what a lot of people wanted in terms of the final decision, but it is the final decision. And so now we're left with saying, okay, so what do we do now? What do we do now that we have a president who is coming in? He was the former president, so this is not new to us. He's been in power before. And so we have to decide as a body, what do we do now? What do we do now that this decision is made? And so I thought it would be good to kind of open the floor and air out what we feel, no matter what candidate you endorsed. You have to be feeling a way, right? One way or the other. And you have to also be saying to yourself, okay, so how do we come together as a country? Because we've got to. We are the United States of America. So it's not the Democrats versus the Republicans. It's all of us in it now, right? We're all in this together. It is the United States of America, meaning everyone who lives here now has to roll up their sleeves and get to work and do what is necessary to heal and to move on with the choice that we have. So I'm going to be dropping the link. I will say, though, you can come up, you can speak your mind. I'm not going to hold anything and block your speech or anything. The only thing that I would ask is that you be respectful, is that you don't do any of the things that YouTube says that we cannot do, which is curse, which is, do any kind of profanity, meaning if you're backstage and I see you backstage and you're doing something you have no business doing while backstage in my green room, guess what? You're not coming up, okay? And those who know me and who know how I roll, you know that the Brooklyn Bella can pop out instantly. And I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying not to allow her to jump on today, because it's not about the Brooklyn Bella. It is about being an adult, being a responsible adult, being a taxpayer here in the United States of America, and trying to forge a way now that we have this path. So again, feel free to come up and talk and keep it cute, because we always keep it cute here. But understand who you're dealing with. I'm not the one to play with. And especially now that tempers and emotions are high, I needed a minute too. Actually, I needed 2 minutes. I needed 2 days to kind of get my head together, because I knew this was coming and I knew I wanted to talk about this. And so I had to prepare myself for it. So here's the first link that I'm going to drop. And I will, in a second, hang on a second. Why is it not? Well, this is interesting. Hang on a second. Yeah, you had to take some time. You absolutely had to take some time. All right, for some reason, my link is not dropping. So hang on just 1 second. Let me look at my settings. Is it? All right. Bear with me. Oh, here it goes. Oh. I just saw it and then it went away. Hang on, we're still trying to open this thing up for the invite. Here we go. All right, I don't know what's going on with StreamYard, but it is taking a long time for things to happen. So forgive me for those of you who are waiting for the link. It took a minute for it to come. And let me pin it so that if you want to come up, it's at the top. All right. So while I'm waiting for whomever to come up, let me just start with how I felt, right? I didn't vote for Trump. And so I felt that all of the momentum that we generated, all of the people that we supposedly got excited around this idea of having our first female African-American candidate for president ascend to that highest level of office, I felt that I was duped. I felt that we were kind of led down a path that we thought everyone had their hearts and arms around, but in actuality, they did not. And I just did not vote, and that's it. I also did a lot of polling. I did a lot of calls to all across America, but specifically to Arizona, to North Carolina, and to Philadelphia and Pennsylvania as a whole. And I felt it was there in Pennsylvania where I felt the most decisiveness, one way or the other. So you were either on the phone with me and you were firm in the, at least to me, you were firm in the camp of, yes, I am going to be supporting and throwing my support to Harris for president. I believe in her. I believe in her issues. I believe in what she stands for. And yes, I'm going to vote for her. And I felt that while some of them probably did do that, now that we're looking at the exit polls and we see like demographically who actually did what, there was a lot of flip-flop there. There's a lot of people who said one thing, but in actuality, when they got to the polls, did another. And that's concerning to me for a lot of reasons. One, because if you truly felt that way, that she was not your candidate for whatever reason, why not say that? Why not say, I'm not voting for her? Because many people did tell me that. Many people said, I'm not voting for her, and these are the reasons why I'm not voting for her. That I can understand. If you are a staunch Republican, or if you did not like her viewpoints, or you thought she was too liberal, or you thought she was too in your face, and you didn't like the things that she said, I can understand that. I can understand that because you have a difference of opinion, and I get that. But what I did not get, and what I still was struggling with days after, and to be honest, I'm still struggling with it, was the saying that, yes, this is what I'm doing, but then you didn't do it. But then when you were in the voting booth, you were at the polls, you did not do that. What was the reason behind it? Now, I've heard from a lot of people who said, they thought she was too liberal. They thought that she focused too much on the negativity of Trump and, all of his antics and things like that. And they felt that, she should have risen above that and not matched his energy with energy of her own. Okay, all fair points. And I spoke with a lot of people who were like, I think that at the end of the day, some of the things that she probably should have shed a light on and focused on was not really mentioned as much. And then I also heard that because she is under Biden and because, she is his vice president, maybe she's going to be adopting the same path that Biden had us on. And so I get all of that. I understand all of that, but I feel like we should have had that discussion beforehand. And I feel that we had a lot of time to do that. She did town halls. She did a debate with Trump. Like these things, if you were really concerned about it, these things should have been echoed at every chance that you had to be in the company of this candidate. And I feel that now that the dust has settled and the choice has been made, all of these other things are coming out. I'm going to hear what you guys are saying as well. And again, I did drop the link if you want to come up and talk more about it. Rhea Sunshine says, very concerning. I agree because it didn't allow opportunity. TP. I don't know what TP means. But to get them addressed and to get them, to address concerns or get them addressed. Yeah, absolutely. And then also remember that she came in late to the game, very, very late to the game. She came in, July? And so she had from July to November, which is roughly, 100 and some odd days to gear up for this election, whereas the candidate had the whole year, well, actually from last year to gear up. So I understand that too, and that's not enough time to mount a successful campaign, as we see clearly, because you can't get through all of the things that you want to say, right? It's hard. It's hard. Think about it. All of the things she probably wanted to say that I just said, the American people were now thinking, well, she didn't say this, she didn't address this, she didn't go hard on this, she didn't distance herself enough from Biden. All of those things, has she had the opportunity and the time to do those things, I think she would have addressed it. She would have certainly heard our concerns and tried to make an attempt to do that, I feel. But again, was that enough of a tipping point for her not to be the nominee? Was that enough? Got it. Lion says, I think there were a lot of key factors on both sides why either they voted for Harris or Trump. I voted for Harris. I think it is more money behind it, to be honest. I think so too. Also, don't forget the race for the House is still going on. Absolutely. And that's concerning to me as well, because right now it looks like the Republicans will own not only the Senate, but also take a majority back of the House as well. So again, you have to look at that too. If we have what I think is going to happen, then we will have a Republican president and the two branches of government both all controlled by the Republican Party. And I don't think it's fair on either end. I don't think it's fair that we have a Democratic controlled Senate and House. I think that we need to be balanced because all sides need to be heard. And I don't want a monopoly to become the tipping scale, like the finger on the scale that forces us to abide by these set of rules that this party puts forth. And I feel if we have that, we're going to have a lot of issues because, frankly, the fact that we have these two branches of government and we have these two major parties is because one ideal and one set of values is held by this party, and another set of values and ideals are set by this major party. Should there be only two major parties? No, there's also independent, there's also the Green Party, there's also, all these other smaller parties that are coming into play too. And if we look at the election, although they did not get any electoral votes, they did get votes away from both candidates. So that's another thing that we should think about too, as we post-mortem what went on in the aftermath of this election 2024. BG says 107 days exactly. Yeah, 107 days. So in these 107 days, can you effectively mount a effective campaign? I think she did with what she was given and the time she was allotted. I just feel that at the end of the day, it wasn't enough to get the job done, clearly. And Guided Lion says, and that's not looking good in the House race because if the Republicans get control of the House, then a lot of the laws that they want to push through will go through with ease. Yeah, because they have the majority. So again, even if we do push back, if they have the majority, obviously they're going to win. So we have to be able to bring other Republicans over to our way of thinking. And if it is a majority hold on that House, who do you think they're going to listen to? You think they're going to listen to the Democrats if their constituency is for this agenda? How is that going to work? How is that going to work? Guided Lion says, I agree with all sides needing to be heard, but let's be clear. There are going to be a lot of scary changes coming into play. Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I firmly believe that part of that 2025 document that everybody was waiting, and I didn't read it all because it's over 900 pages, but I will say the majority of what was written in there, I can definitely see them trying to push forward as laws. Now, it takes a little while for laws to be vetted through, properly gone through channels, voted on, until it's actually implemented. Because there are a lot of things that are in the Biden and Harris camp that have already pushed through that we are not seeing yet and probably won't see until mid next year, which means the president who is sitting there, who had nothing to do with these things that have already been underway and in play, will be allowed to take credit for it, quote unquote, because it happened during his administration. The same thing that happened the last time he was in office, and things were already pushed down the pike and gone through the funnels and now are ready to be implemented because it happened under his watch. He took credit for it and actually said those things in the campaign trail. So don't forget that also is a factor. Hi, TC. So TC comes in saying, good evening, good evening, good evening. Red Sunshine says, we have to have people actively watching and publicizing those laws they're trying to put out on a more serious level. Absolutely, absolutely. We should know what is coming down the pike and what still needs to be coming down the pike. One of the things that I think that all of us should do is figure out who is now in control locally, who we have elected and are now going to be in place come January, and have a sit down with them, because things get pushed up from the grassroots level. And so if you are boots on the ground and you are working with those local politicians to get your agenda pushed, you have to do that, because only the squeaky wheel gets the oil. And if there are enough squeaky wheels around an issue, that is when things are done. So one of the things we have to do now that we know what we know is roll up our sleeves, pull up our bootstraps, and get to work on the ground level, talking to all of these people who are going to be in office come January, and let them know, hello, my name is, and these are the issues that I'm concerned about. And I want to make sure that when you go to work, when you go to the Senate, when you go to the House, when you sit with people, that what I have issues with and the causes that I want addressed are on the agenda. And don't just stop there. You have to make yourself known throughout the groundwork. This is ground zero. Wherever you live, wherever your legislators are, wherever your congressmen are, these are the people that you need to be knocking on their doors, banging on their windows, making sure you get meetings with them, making sure you go to local school boards and all of the things that are happening on the ground level, so that they know your face and they see you coming. Oh, Lord, here comes Shannon again. She's going to be talking about XYZ, PQ. Yes, I am. And I'm going to continue to come back here and I'm going to continue to talk about it until I see movement done. TC says, exactly. Yeah, that's what we have to do. We have to roll up our sleeves and be boots on the ground, helping to push our agenda forward, because it does not stop with the election. And I've been saying that since the beginning. It does not stop with who is president. Because the president, is a figurehead. He's a figurehead. They go by the will of the people, and it gets funneled up from ground zero. Our legislators, our congressmen, the people we elected, they start writing these laws, they start putting these agendas forward, and then it gets funneled all the way up. And that's what we have to do. That's what we have to do. Um, God Alliance says that is true. So now we see and wait. The thing is that it's going to affect everyone. Even his supporters are going to feel it and they cannot complain. Absolutely. And that's a great point, Got It Lion, because so much of his support came from Middle America. And from what I know, from the first time we had him as president, he didn't exactly help Middle America at all. So the fact that they were the groundswell of his support at the end leads me to believe it's not so much who the other side had, but who we had. It's not so much the fact that it was Trump. I think it was the fact that it was Kamala. And let's face it, I don't think this country is ready for a Black female president. I mean, even if you hear like some of the talk that was on other YouTube channels or commentary made on news programs, it was all about, oh, her being a woman and women being synonymous with, mood swings and being temperamental, and do you want that to have to have the codes to weaponry and all of this stuff, and how could she be a formidable leader, and all of these different things because she's a female. I'm sorry, but if you look at the country, the world rather, as a whole, there are lots of women who are leading countries. Lots of women who are leading countries. Maybe not as big as ours, but some of them are large countries that are doing fine with a female leader. And I think that Kamala Harris was balanced enough, in my opinion, to handle whatever was going to be thrown her way. I don't feel that when we've had crises under Trump's old administration that he handled it in a proper way. I can remember lots of missteps that he made. Who remembers when, the pandemic first came about and he started, pontificating about how, this is not real. This is not a real disease. This is going to pass over. This is not real. And people were dying. People were getting seriously sick, having to be admitted to hospitals on oxygen, some on life support, and some did not make it because of this epidemic. And then compounding that with the fact that he started talking about how, this may be, because of the Asians, and he started throwing, all of these wild accusations out. But the thing that killed me the most was when he informed us on television, millions of people watching, to drink bleach as a cure for this pandemic that we were going through. Hey, Beachy, I see
Hello.
you.
I was sitting I was sitting in the dark and I said, okay, turn on a little light. Okay.
I love
I
it.
think we are all giving this is all you're getting. I've been in t-shirts and sweats, whatever, for like 2 days, going on the
Mhm.
third day. Slap a ponytail holder on, and this is the best you can get out of me. I only put some lips. The lips were just too dry, and I had to put something on before.
I have some moisturizer.
I
I
couldn't find my beeswax, so I just
couldn't.
said, at least I don't have to look like I'm, just
Mhm.
not trying to give off dead. But and you're hitting some really good key points. But going back to what you said about getting duped,
Mhm.
I honestly believe, because even with the 107 days, the
Mhm.
momentum, the hype across the board, I'm talking about, I know your timeline be looking like my timeline for
Mhm.
the most part.
Yes.
And from artists to campuses to just opposite races, all of that, for that, somebody was lying. Me and my friend, I was with hashtag said somebody lying. I
Yeah.
really do. People was doing a bunch of gaslighting, knowing
Yes.
full well they had no intentions of wanting her to do that position, which says a lot about what type of person are you.
Mhm.
I really do. I don't know if did they want their 15 minutes of fame? What it was too much momentum that was really going like, this is possible. This
Mhm.
is possible, which was why
Mhm.
I'm like, no, this was possible. It
Yeah.
could have been done. It wasn't wanted.
Mhm.
And so people that pretended that they were going to, and it would have been the
Mhm.
women that were pretending, saying one thing, and they were going and voting another. You can't tell me
Absolutely.
no different.
Absolutely. TC says exactly. Jill says she's listening while she's editing. No worries. Thank you. Yes. Having
And
a blessed
and
evening.
to add on to that, before I give the mic back, another reason I can tell that, when I did look on YouTube just to scroll, or social media today a little bit, some of the
Mhm.
main people that were doing all the talk, not all of a sudden it's like, okay, she lost. They over here back on foolishness.
Mhm.
Like this didn't even happen. Like, we didn't just put 107 days of our life, our heart, our everybody was working these
We put it
shows.
all on the line, BT.
Yeah,
We put
they
it all
acting
on
like
the
nothing
line.
happened. And so for you to be able to go that quick to, okay, so I want to talk like hold on, that's not, nobody bounces back like that.
Right. Right.
This is Trump. We've had a traumatic effect.
Green.
So you never were, uh, as you said you were. You
Mm-hmm.
never had in your heart what you never wanted it, and I
Exactly.
really believe that.
So what do you think was the precipitous for this switch? Because I've heard, in talking with people about it, I've heard that they're not ready. They, quote unquote, are not ready for a black female. Like, if it's going to be the first, then it needs to be a Caucasian woman first before it is a black woman.
No one. They don't want to say. That's what people are thinking. They just want to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
feel that
mean,
way?
we yeah.
Yeah.
You can test that with a lot of theories. Like, if you look at even currency, when we finally did get a female on currency, although we're going to contribute to our match loan for getting the quarter, the first woman on currency was not. You have to really go back and hear some, be like, well, we'll give you a chance maybe, but first you can't go before us.
Right.
That's that aristocratic stuff that is like still there. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, we can hold on, we got it, we couldn't do it, we
Right.
can't let you do it. Like,
Right.
we weren't able to do it, we can't let you do, like, that's the mindset. And I'm not, you
Mm-hmm.
can't tell me any different.
Right. I also heard that they feel that it is, quote unquote, payback for Hillary, that they felt that we didn't support Hillary Clinton as much as we said we were going to. So now this is payback for not supporting their quote unquote candidate
Um,
the last time?
you work around a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of mindsets, and I have to do some back and forth too.
Mm-hmm.
And the way individuals think, that is not too far fetched to think. They will sit. Who does that? People do.
True.
You went through all of that. You're doing all of this extra media. And your entire motive is to really go the other way. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm glad to not do that. I am what I say. I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do, or not do it at all.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Okay. So you're willing to put it all on the line just to say, I can't let you beat me. Yes, I've done it. I've too many times, which is why I've had to move the way I have. In society, they will
Mm-hmm.
get mad if you
Mm-hmm.
do it before them, if you own it before them, if
Mm-hmm.
you drive it more expensive than them,
Right.
if you look better than, like,
Mm-hmm.
not that I don't want you to be pretty. I just don't want you to be prettier than me, which
It's not
goes
that I
into
want you to be
cultural stuff.
successful, but I
Right.
don't want you to be more successful than
Than
I
me.
am.
Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
supposed to do it first, and then you can come on. That attitude has not changed. I don't care. People can get all the BBLs, and the other sides can go try to type into the culture. What do you call them? Culture vultures. They
Mm-hmm.
can do all that extra stuff. Go tan to the to the gods. Okay, do all of that. Get some cornrows and swear they are
Mm-hmm.
all for it. But when it come down to it, no, they most certainly are. They're going to, I can't let you beat me. Wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
We have to do it. That's the way it's been. Um, and that's unfortunate. The price to pay, we'll have to see for that type of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
TC said, exactly, keeping a political scorecard. Yeah, you absolutely do. Because, all right, now that it is what it is, I'm going to be making sure that my voice is heard. Because, what we tend to do as a people is we internalize these things, we dig our head in the sand, and we
Yeah.
don't come out until his term is over. And
No.
then we start bubbling back again. But the real work starts now. We have to come together, because guess what? Nobody else is going to come to our rescue, as we see. Nobody else is going to pull up and hold up that mantle with us and get the issues that we want addressed. Nobody else is going to do it. Black
I
men have come over and seen, put us together, and now we had, an agenda, and we were kind of moving together towards that agenda. But I feel that once the dust settles, we need to still be together on this. And we
I
need to pull
hope
others into the fold as well.
I sure hope so. I mean, I don't know what. That's why I'm like, that tunnel vision and not thinking past outside yourself. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling many people, I'm like, no, y'all don't understand. This isn't a sister thing. This is I don't care who that was up there. Based on what we're forced with, I don't care what you rep. I know that I don't need this clown over here with the way they even act. No,
Mm-hmm.
that's how a lot of our mind thinks.
Right.
But on the numbers, we are outnumbered. I was out there at the polls just like you were, and I began to quickly see when I saw the turnout, because I'm still in the community that I serve, and so it's going to be the majority of us.
Mm-hmm.
The way I was seeing the turnout, and in the way how many people live in this is old the community, I was like, something ain't right.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all should have been dang on. Hold on a minute. And
Mm-hmm.
we down south. So I was already like, where y'all at?
Yeah.
Like, where are you?
Yeah,
I'm in a
yeah.
central location of where I should. I even was like circling the parking lot. I was just looking like. So where's all that pumping? What you call it? Pumping circumstance that
Circumstance.
was
Hmm.
beforehand. I didn't see it.
Yeah,
I don't know what you saw when you went down there, but I was doing my own. There was no
yeah.
pumping circumstance.
Well, here's the thing. Where I live, it's a blue state for the most part. Yeah, we had some pockets that, vote red, fine. But the majority of the people where I live, we
Okay.
all fell down blue. Now, in the South, in that Bible Belt, and in the Midwest, where you have a diversity of different, you know, factors, those who are staunch Republicans, those who, vote Democrat, there's a big pocket of both of them that are missing. You know what I mean? So I feel that, especially where you are, and in that deep South, like I said, in that Bible Belt of those who live, in the Midwest as well, I feel that those were the people who kind of, to put it in a vernacular, kind of played in
Right.
our face, kind of told us one thing but did
I
another.
did right. And you did a bait and switch. Like, wait a
You did
second,
a bait and switch,
something
yeah.
not right. I mean, I was really like, there was no reason. Even with the rides I gave, nobody had to wait.
Mm-hmm.
Something's not right, and that's why I'm like, wait a second. I remember on the third ride, walking someone in, walking straight in to show their ID,
Mm-hmm.
not even a wait at the let me check your ID. I was walking people straight in to scan their ID, get their ballot, and then go over to the thing and wait and help them out, like
Mm-hmm.
straight in.
Yeah.
Even when I took my son, he was at a different poll in a majority community. The part of the state that I live in is all blue. Even though the state
Mm-hmm.
is red, but the part that I live in is this is our little blue area, our
Mm-hmm.
little square. He walked in before I looked down and changed the song on the radio. He was coming back out with his I voted sticker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and this was my second his first time voting. I'm like, okay, where's the what? So when I say the lines, like I said, and I wanted to really test my own theory, so I'm like, I'm gonna go back down at this time. Maybe it's a lot of people just waiting to come at the last minute. They want to be no. So that meant
Mm-hmm.
for the day, it was just people. There was I don't want to use that word stroll. It was a straggling coming in, mostly elderly. I don't know where
Mm-hmm.
all those folks was at. What
Yeah.
all that? Where were y'all at? Because I was checking.
Yeah. We have TC. I'm going to bring her up to the stage. Welcome in, TC, HBCU Queen. How
Good
are
evening.
you?
Good evening, Brown
Evening.
Girl Bella. Good evening, BT. I'm good. Good evening to you, chat.
Yes.
Uh,
Before you begin, I just want to go through a few comments that popped up. Ray Sunshine says drone pilots mobilizing around current laws to ban certain drone brands, just like they have alliances. Other groups need to do the same to the media and the reps. Yeah, absolutely. We need to get our allies in order, get them together, and start mobilizing. Welcoming in folks. Yes, I know you meant Jess. Okay, TC, you said that. Part BGB. And Guided Line says, and it is the same with the Democrats. Like either side was going to feel it even more. Now, to your point, the country is not ready to have a female president. Yeah, I think that what this showed us is that they may be ready for a female president. She just cannot be African American. They're not ready for an African American president. Maybe they're ready for a Caucasian president at this time, but they definitely are not ready for a Black one, in my opinion. Ray Sunshine said, very true, TC. Do you think Condoleezza Rice would ever consider running for office? I'll put that up to the panelists on the screen. Do you think Condoleezza Rice, Dr. Condoleezza Rice, would ever consider running?
No.
Yeah.
Beach, you're muted.
Sorry, I don't think she will. I think that the work that she put in at her time and what she was able to give as a woman of color during her time, that was it. And I think she did the best what she could with that time. But there's no way I could see her, especially at this age, coming in and even like trying to serve false hope. I think she understands. No, I'm not gonna. I don't think she would do it.
Smart candidate.
Right.
Wonderful.
It's not about not couldn't do it. I just think that she understands the game. And
Right.
it's like I'm not about to serve y'all anything that I know this is not going to go that way. It's like she wouldn't do it for the fact that she understands how they act in there.
Mhm.
And I think if she were going to do it, she would have done it long before now. I think right now, that time for her is probably past, in my opinion.
On election night, I was very, very optimistic up until one point. And that's when they declared Pennsylvania. And that's when it was sort of like Thor's hammer came down.
Yes.
And I will say that we did get some wind as to what happened. And is it too far fetched to think that people would not want Madam POTUS because they didn't get Hillary? It is not far fetched to think.
Yeah, I think we have to give some real credence to that. I mean, I didn't think of it, like I said, until I started talking to other people and hearing what they have to say, and that's a valid point. Like, we came and we supported her, but did we support her at the same level that we supported Harris? No. I'll be upfront with that. I didn't support her as staunchly as I supported Harris.
Right. And I can too. But let me tell y'all, we got duped. I gotta use Bella's word in TT. I was in and out of 4 watch parties. Not just in and out, back and forth. Even at one point an emergency meeting got called, like, hey, how about, I'll skip all that. But up until it looked like she was going to be a comeback, there were people in this watch party. Oh, she pulled through. They were really giving. They were the minute he got. I think it was like, I can't remember what number it was, but it was definitely like, oh, she lost Pennsylvania, and I think he might have been at like 255 or something. When it got to that point, all of a sudden, this very same women, and these were women that looked like us, all of a sudden, oh well, I guess they flipped. When I tell y'all, they flipped like a snitch sitting down there at NYPD.
Honey, they were flipping like a whole cake.
They switched. So I was like, you was just sitting here rooting, saying she might could do it. You were all for it. But the minute you saw who the winner was going to be, then you switch, and then the commentary from it wasn't no, oh man, like something like this. It was okay. Well, all right, go ahead. I'm like, wait, so you're for him? Wait, I'm confused because this entire time you've been sitting here in blue. As soon as we saw, oh, you're not gonna get it, they took off the blue hoodie, and up under that was the red shirt. Like, okay, let's go. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow.
No,
yeah.
That's how I'm like, when people start to show you who they are, you better believe it. I'm like,
Believe them. This is a great point made by Got It Lion. I think some Americans were just not ready for a woman, period. And I'm a firm believer of giving everyone a shot. But for everyone to fold like they did is alarming, meaning changing their minds. Yeah. I
Right.
mean, I cannot get over a couple of things. One, the fact that as we were all watching these polls, Trump's numbers kept climbing, kept climbing, kept climbing. And every time they went to refresh, his numbers kept climbing, kept climbing. And hers were stagnant for a while. Like there was a point in time that she was at like, I want to say 20 or 30
it was very low.
electoral votes. It was under 50, where he was already over 100. And I said
Right.
to myself, this cannot be right. This
Yeah.
cannot be right. With the amount of people that we polled and that we caucused and that we, um, listened to and said that they were going to be supporting her, we should have had those numbers running up like
Yeah.
every time they refreshed, and it wasn't there. That was
The
my
other
first alarm. It was not for the longest time. It was not there.
the other piece, Brown Girl Bella, is that when we were watching it, the various media outlets, and we were watching the numbers weren't this. They were not the same in each, like
No.
like C-SPAN, CNN,
Mhm.
MSNBC, our locals all had different numbers.
Very different.
I
Very
mean,
different.
terribly different. And I
Yeah.
was like, wait, what? Now, see, now something's not right here.
Mhm.
And we were, I- I'm trying, I already knew California, I already knew New York,
Yeah.
automatic. We already knew that going into this game. But then there were certain other things that just the math wasn't mathing. The numbers didn't come in the manner in which it should. And I don't even think that they even counted those numbers. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. There's something not right in the milk, and we also got wind of that too. Madam POTUS was pissed. I mean, to passivity, to the point where
She couldn't even talk. I know.
she
She couldn't even
she
talk. She couldn't even
she
make
was
it.
hot, and
Yeah.
I get it. And it was a dishonor. It's a disgrace, just because because she is a woman, and because, like you said, Brown Girl Bella, there have been many world leaders that
Mhm.
are and
Yeah.
have been female. The
Yeah.
Queen Elizabeth just passed away. What last?
Right.
So she ran the reign symbolically or whatever. She
Mhm.
still ran the reign for what? How many decades?
Yeah. She
I
was the oldest sitting monarch. The oldest.
let's not
Right.
had a Nefertiti, honey, that was running all.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Hatshepsut, who was the second, one of the only two queen pharaohs. Hatshepsut,
Mhm.
I'll wear this little thing of a beard and whatever, who was great in import export and started the Valley of the Kings. We have had
Mhm.
women that have actually changed, started things that they tried to get their work stole back, but thankfully now people have come back and to give Hatshepsut credit for the Valley of the Kings and some of her work that they knocked her name off of and tried to go back and scribble up. We appreciate that. But the fact that um they did great jobs, and that was
Hmm.
probably, to be, just to think that, wow, this was a serious situation. This wasn't someone's running for the Miss America, you
Right.
pageant.
Right.
This is the country. Okay,
Right.
this is our
Right.
policy. Your children and grandchildren and whoever else, and you mean to tell me you're this petty, or you're this stuck on thinking it's going to minimize you to exalt someone who, this is all we have. There was no one else. It's like, who else?
Yeah. I mean, I even heard, and I'm going to get to another point too, that I think it was Ray of Sunshine had made, someone had made in the comments. I'll pull it up in a moment. But I wanted to say that when we look at these polling numbers, and like I said, there were a lot of factors at play. One, the numbers were just not jiving across the board. Two, I feel like there were other things that kind of got glossed over that we should have definitely been talking about. One being there were tens of thousands of votes that our young people had made, but because their signature didn't match whatever they had in the system, they were trying to adjudicate all of those votes. Now, if there are tens of thousands of votes that you're trying to make sure are counted and are valid, what's the status of that? I feel like they get that one bloop and then they never talked about it again. So what happened to all of those votes? Did they get counted? Did they get adjudicated? Did they get, validated? What happened?
It hasn't been brought up. And with Kamala being as smart as she is, like she said, she started her political career at Howard at HBCU, and that's where it would end that night with her knowing. And I'm pretty sure it was heartbreaking, when realizing, wait a second, I had this, that realizing, what were y'all? So this was all again, like, really coming to sucker punch, like,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to give it to him. Is that serious to you? I mean, I get, like, I can imagine. I don't think I would have been able to talk
Mm-hmm.
that night of, like, I
Yeah.
need me a value, knock me out, and let me get up the next day, because right now I don't
Yeah.
want. I can't be there. There's dignity. There's
Yeah.
like, I'm give it to Whitney. This is one thing you can you can't take away my dignity. She was not going to let them have her dignity that night,
Mm-hmm.
and she was there on Alpha site.
Mm-hmm.
Was definitely there.
Yeah.
That's
With
right.
she for sure was there on
Mm-hmm.
Alpha. She was
Yeah.
there, but she,
Mm-hmm.
when you have a support group of people, they will, like, you don't gotta go now. Send out your rep. You'll be there tomorrow to speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
And I think she did a great concession
I
speech.
think so too.
I think she did a great job. She was definitely grace under pressure. Because I know what standing up there had to mean to her,
Hmm.
because she's fought and won all of her life. And this was a battle that she did not think would end up the way it was going to end up, the way it ultimately ended up. And so that's a bitter pill for anybody to swallow. So we got to give her grace in that respect.
That's what I was
And
saying.
I agree with Beach. I agree with Beach. Yeah, if her team, if she decided that she didn't want to come out last night,
Hmm.
the night before, then no, she can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because leaders can do that, and leaders will. Oh, she doesn't have to go along with the way that everyone has done it all along,
Hmm.
or all these years. Why? Because Donald Trump still hasn't shown his taxes. He hasn't shown a whole bunch of information. He's a felon, and and he didn't even vote for himself. How dare anybody? He can't. How dare anybody want to put her to? Oh, you have to do it this way. No, they didn't do it. They didn't stick it to him. She's a free thinker. She's a free woman, and
Right.
she's even surpasses all of this stuff.
But if
She's
you
only
think about it,
gracing us.
think about it, TC, throughout this whole 107 days, we had one set of standards for Harris and another set of standards for Trump.
Yes.
And they were not equal. They were never equal.
No.
Things that he's done throughout this campaign, and even before Harris took the reign of it, even when Biden was there, like his whole stance went from, all right, Biden is old and feeble, blah 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 blah, to now you being the quote unquote old and feeble
Boom.
one. So now I'm going to say she's, dumb, she's a woman, she's an idiot, she's this. I mean, like, the excuse me, the things that he was saying about her were just vile,
Right.
just vile. And like, this is who you want as a president, as a spokesperson. This is who you want to talk to other leaders of the free world who might be women.
Right.
How is that going to work
It is not.
when they are hearing what you're saying about your own country person? So now you're coming over to my country where I, female, am the leader. Do you think you're going to talk to me like that?
Right. No, not at all.
I got a question.
You have to think about these things. Ray of Sunshine, real quick, said, "Thank you, Beachy. Well said. People are truly going through grief stages over these results after giving their all into the campaign."
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Right.
interesting payback theory, Bella, as well. Yeah, about Hillary versus Kamala.
I
And
want
just think about it. Like, he couldn't even at the last moment, after you've already won, you could still not say this woman's name right. You still can give her that much respect to get her name correct. Like, come on.
the disrespect. So I got a question for
Yes.
you, Kat. Do you all think if, and it might have been brought to the table, it's something I guess we won't know. Maybe Biden, especially in his health state, if we were ever going to even let her have that moment to take that title, this is how I know there's so much backhandedness. With, we all know that doesn't matter. It's backhandedness everywhere, honey. It's backhandedness down at the KFC chicken. We don't want to hear that. People trifling everywhere. But I almost kind of was thinking, what if he would have, like, when the president says, I'm able to resume my duties. I'm going to step down and let the VP be active president for this amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
I almost kind of like that came up in a conversation the other day, and I thought, well, considering she was only going to have 107 days to run, that wouldn't have been a bad idea. Like, she would have at least been president. Let's say he did that in last February. She would have
Mm-hmm.
11 months.
Mm-hmm.
As acting president.
To see her lead, to see what she would do as a leader. Yeah, I think one of the things that hurt her was that when pressed on what she would do differently from Biden, she couldn't distance herself enough away. And politically, you really can't, because you are his VP. He's still the president, so you can't
Right. Right.
totally
Bella.
isolate yourself.
Right.
But you can say, what he has laid out and done is, great, and I support him in that. But when I am president, I will probably move in a different direction, and I will probably focus more on X. I think that might have helped a little bit in terms of kind of separating herself away from the fray. I think also, I was having a conversation earlier today, and someone made a great point that she focused maybe a little too much on the abortion rights. And when you think about, where she lost in that Bible, like I said, that Bible Belt, who staunchly believes in pro-life, they will have a baby until they don't have any more eggs or possibilities of eggs any longer. They will have as many babies as they can have.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're talking to that group of people and your opinion about that is so far removed from what they know and what they believe to be inherently true, that women were designed to just procreate until, there's no longer anything to procreate. I think that was maybe a little bit alienating to that sector of people.
I think so too. They'll be like, you shouldn't be having, if it's not your husband, you wouldn't have to worry about abortion because you should only the one the one guy you ever was with, and there shouldn't be anybody. That type of thinking. We are.
Yeah.
Um. Yes, that had a with it. Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
But here's the thing, government, we always talk about government and state, and
Mm-hmm.
you're not supposed to, you're supposed to keep them separate.
Mm-hmm.
So conveniently we insert this religion, this Bible thing into government when we so conveniently want to condemn or to condemn or condone a particular person
Mm-hmm.
conveniently for our own personal stake.
Right.
That's my absolute problem with this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
those ones were going in with their husbands. It was like uh because even I, just when I do go to service, like most, it's still like husband, wife, like, yeah. I mean, it's not like your husband could have snatched your ballot and saw what you did, but that type of you can't think for yourself. You can sit there and say, "You right, honey," but when you got to that poll, been like, "Look,
This is what I think. This is how I believe. But
uh,
I don't think that there was any of that.
unless." Now, I don't know if I'm right on this. I do know that I did, like, when I found out that it was public information and you could find out, because there are some people I'm going to be calling out when the time comes that was
Mm-hmm.
the most talk cash money talking, the most dressing up, the most this and that, and what ain't even registered to vote. I'm most
Right.
certainly have a message for them. But does it show up, TC? You might know this on the public information where it will show if a person is registered and did they vote. It doesn't show. Does it show what party they voted for, or is that part private?
That part is that part is private, but it will show that they participated in this election, the primary, in this elect.
And
It
what
will
the
say
last four
yes to
seats
that.
were that they participated
Okay.
in. And also, if you are aligned already with a political party, it will tell you that. Like it'll say
Right.
registered Republican or registered Democrat if you
Okay.
registered as that. Or
Okay.
Because like I checked mine today,
Mhm.
and I, like when I voted, I didn't vote a whole straight Democratic ticket
Mhm.
because as you so eloquently were saying, Beach, you mentioned it too. Hey, we had some other offices that people were running for, so
Right.
don't forget those. So
Right.
I didn't do a straight Democratic ticket. There were about 3 offices that I did another party for. So
Mhm.
when I went and I checked it out, it just said that I'm a part of this party.
Mhm.
However, I did vote in the 2024 election, the general.
I would
Mhm.
love with just whenever you can, if you could share where I will be able to go and just for when I do, because I'm going to be sitting down with my own legal pad. Okay, I have a nice pink
Hmm.
pad and a nice pen, and it's just a couple of people I want to check for myself. Okay, I I have time. I really want to go and check this
Hmm.
just
She said she want to check the list, honey.
Yeah, you know why? Voting commissioner's office, and you know why it is so important. And as I always do this, when people come to me and ask me, about scholarships and things of that nature, you know what I tell them? I ask them, did you vote?
Mhm.
Because here's the thing: if you didn't vote, then you really did vote. You put somebody in probably that we shouldn't have, that we didn't want in, that
Right.
was against all of well for HBCUs it was against education for black men, for our black boys and things, our black young ladies.
Mhm.
And so you really helped and assisted and aided and abetting in somebody getting in that. And now you want somebody to help you to get your child to get in. As heartfelt as that is for me to say no, I have to stand on some type of principle and
Right.
let them know that, if you want something over here, you need to participate over there. You
Mhm.
see,
Yeah.
that's just the bottom line.
Yes.
And too many people want everything handed to them. Here, oh, you
Mhm.
can get it, but they don't ever want to put into the system. They want to take away from the system, but they
Yes.
don't want to put into it.
And you
Negative.
are absolutely right.
and that's
Bitch,
not
yeah, we can. What'd you say? I couldn't hear you. What'd you say?
They want handouts, not a hand up. And that
Yes.
ain't what I signed up for. I signed
Mhm.
hands are for a hand up and a hand across, not reaching out for a handout. No.
Mhm.
That's not what I stand for. So I understand you completely. I'm like, so what y'all, you want the money, but I don't really see you supporting anything that, I get it. I understand exactly what you're saying. And I do respect that. But
yeah. God Alliance says, on election night, I saw the writing on the wall, and I did not really think, because of how this election was run, that she was going to win. But I would have loved to see her as president. Same. Ray Sanchez,
I'm gonna tell you, she ran. So I'm not understand. Okay, so she was here in Pennsylvania all the time. So she had, her energy was absolutely amazing.
yeah.
Okay, and I saw her be constant and consistent and persistent. She was where she was supposed to be. She made. I didn't. The way that it was run, I don't know. What does that mean? What does that mean?
I don't think that God Alliance, well, he could speak for himself, but I feel that people thought, with the amount of time that she was given, yes, she ran a wonderful race. But they still feel, now that, post-mortem, and we're kind of like assessing all of the things, there were certain things that maybe she should have expressed a little bit more, or maybe certain things that she should have dialed up and certain things that she should have dialed back. Meaning, for example, the whole thing about abortion. But I loved when she would say, like, I'm Kamala Harris for the people, and I would be a president for everyone. I think that could have been definitely dialed up more.
Okay.
And Ray Sunshine says, winning PA was always hard, but I was still surprised. I felt the same as TC. Again, I did phone polling in Pennsylvania. I called everybody. And there were people, I'm going to tell you, that were staunch Republicans that were like, no, I don't even want to hear what you got to say. I'm voting for my candidate, and that's that. And I had, one even, get really irate with me and called me out my name and, said, that's the problem with you people. And I'm like, wow, like, again, that whole connotation that comes along with Trump and his rhetoric and the way he speaks and the way he is so misogynistic to women, the way he is so racist towards other races. That whole thing is being dialed back up again. I don't know if you all have seen, but several people, and even several friends of mine in sorors, have been getting, or their children have been getting, text messages saying that, they're supposed to be reporting, quote unquote, to the nearest plantation, and the plantation that they're supposed to be, quote unquote, reporting to is plantation A or plantation K or whatever. Be there on time, and like all of that stuff that we had already kind of gone through, and I thought gotten past, is now coming back up again. And I feel like I felt the first time, but I feel it even more now, because we had a candidate that could have changed all of this, that could have hopefully united all of us together on something real and not divided us on something that's not real. I'm not here to battle, white supremacy or say who's right or who's wrong. I'm here because I am a taxpayer that cares about our country, and I want things for my ancestors. I want there to be a United States of America for my ancestors who are going to come after me. And I feel that that kind of hate speech and that kind of rhetoric has no place in these United States. It had no place in it when he was here the last time, and it definitely has no place in it now.
I would say I surprisingly stayed up a little later because I just was, like I said, doing my own research, and I saw some people. I'm not going to mention their names. Celebrity status. Some comedians. They, let's just say, they may have been for a particular party, and I actually heard them, and there are thousands of people of audience. I mean, mega thousands. Actually, say at this point here on, after seeing this and the hate, I'm going to be changing everything I do now, because if this is the direction, I need to get my spirit and my soul together. I actually stayed up long enough to hear, like, I wanted to see how people were going to be. I wanted to see the ones like, oh, you over there having a whole party, but just a couple hours ago you were, I don't know, she might get it. And now, oh, so this whole time you just took off the blue hat and put on the red. Okay, I get you, infiltrator. All right. Thanks for letting. But I saw some people, and it was heartfelt, touching to me. I'm like, they could feel, it's like, because it was so ominous. I was saying that day when I was like, y'all, the sun won't come out. I was out there saying, rain, rain, go away. The sun wasn't shining. It was so ominous about Tuesday. I can't even explain it. I don't know where y'all were. It was very ominous. When I said the sun would not come out, it would not come out. From the morning we got up all the way to what, it was just great. But I'm like, this is a sign here. But hearing some people start talking about, if there's ever a time for me to get myself right within, it's now. Because if today, let's just say, was a day of reckoning, I wouldn't be right, and I want to be right within. So let you all know, if you're going to continue to follow me as an audience celebrity, I'm going to be doing some stuff different. I caught a couple of people, not many, but enough to say, well, that I wasn't expecting that. That's you know, it brings some people to their knees of, if you gotta all be stripped down. I mean, I'm not trying to say that's light at the end of the tunnel, but acknowledging that if this can happen after we did all of this, I mean, that, I'm sorry, I don't. The 107 days may have been all it was, but I saw the pushing behind it. When you get somebody like Oprah putting you front, is who supposed to make mountains move and stuff.
Taylor Swift. Right. I mean, we united so many people around this candidate, and we had such a groundswell. And I had not seen that since Obama. I had not seen that kind of momentum and vigor since Obama. So I was one of those who believed and who fought and who thought that it was enough. But now that we know it wasn't, how do we get right for the next time? So if she comes up again and says she wants to run in 4 years, what do we need to do now to prepare for that? Because we cannot have the same thing that happened this time happen again. So what have we learned to do differently so that we move forward and we move with more purpose, and that we move with more action, so that this does not happen again?
So you run for office, Beach run for office, Ray run for office, Guided Lion run for office. Everybody run for office, get in position, and those. And one thing, let me say this one thing, Beach. One thing I love about those millennials, they Googled how to become a part of the electoral state. The electoral college, and a lot of the ones here in Pennsylvania. Interestingly enough, a lot of them are millennials. And so we have millennials that, we have keyboard gangsters here in these YouTube streets, but those young people, they got up and they did something, and they participated. And I will say that we're going to need to have everybody on all fronts, on all fronts. And I'm not one of those that's a real connoisseur of, I don't really care about Beyonce and those too much, I like Oprah because of Oprah's journey, but the hip hop I'm just not really into it. But
Yeah.
that we understand their money, their contribution is appreciated.
Yeah, that was surprising too, because not only did we have people come out from that community in support of Harris, but we also had people come out in that community for the other person too, which was always kind of baffling to me. Because one, because he don't even know who you are, and two, he don't even like you. So
Right. He don't even listen. What are you?
really does not like you or support you or would do anything for you or your
Right.
family.
Look at was it Michelle? Was it
I'm,
Chrisette?
I'm still on the stock. I have not, because I guess, we got these holidays, it is, I can say there's some broken spirits.
Mm-hmm.
It goes beyond one person. There are spirits broken. Like, I don't understand. They're seeing the very person at work, like, girl, you going, they wouldn't vote, but they're seeing them now over there with, hold on, you were never with us. So you just, why you don't got a lot of kick it. Just been who you were. What is that, some type of strategy? Behind enemy lines, let's pretend like, whatever it is, everything done in the dark pretty much comes to the light.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna have
that was a harsh light. I gotta keep it a buck. That was a harsh light that we experienced on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I knew it was gonna be close, but my God, that wasn't even close enough to be close.
Right.
People
are like, it's gonna be neck and, I mean, that those numbers, I was like, why is it taking so long for her numbers
to change? Right.
I remember it was stuck at like 9 for so long. I was getting really angry. Like,
yes,
what's going on?
Meanwhile, his numbers are climbing, and I get it. The polls are coming in the way the polls are coming in, but to see such a disproportionate amount of numbers come in was, to me, very, very telling.
Right. Now, if we want to do something, run for voting commissioner in your town. Because interestingly enough, they're very integral part of obviously this process, but not just for the presidency, but for all elections. And they have to be very systematic thinkers, process oriented, and oftentimes, as I look at some even here in the Commonwealth, well, in Philadelphia, I see some of our voting commissioners. They have very good intention. I trust me, they do, and they put the jobs out there. But process and checks and balances. It's not like those cats in the DMV, because those folks in the DMV, they have a system that's incredulous. So I think that voting commissioner, it's not a whole lot. I think they make what, 100,000 a year, and you probably have to put out some money for election. I mean, for campaigning, but that's a start too, right there.
You're better than me, TC. I am okay. I want it, and bring forth the reaper, and let y'all be the first one. You're gonna get that spanking that you thought you weren't gonna get because you couldn't see past. It had to be you. Like, I'm on the other side. I'm like, okay, come on, reap, go ahead. You reap,
and I get it, because
you need to reap back. You need to feel the effects of what you intentionally did, all based on nothing but hate. I am not going to support a hate monger. I don't. It had been the other way around, and she was spewing out of me like, girl, look, no, ma'am, we're not doing that. It's like that with me for anybody. I don't. So the hate, if you are sowing into hate, then you're going to have to reap that hate. That does not deserve for the rest of us to have to reap a harvest. We didn't plan into that. So for those that's what you planted into, then let that be your harvest. And I'm going to stand on that. And I'm not getting off that square. They sowed into it. They sowed into deceit. Let them reap deceit. They sowed into betrayal, stood there next to her, rubbing shoulders. We got you. And then went out the room and said, she got us effed up. We ain't doing none of that. You will reap that, because this was this matter worldwide. And there was just too many people I saw collectively. I'm talking about conglomerates of people that I'm like, where are these people coming from? Just the love that was coming out. It was a lot. So I'm not
And
buying
then,
it.
the money that was raised, didn't she raise like
That's right.
millions of dollars on the
Yes, it's
first
like
day?
it's not adding up. So
But then at the end
It's
of the day,
not.
I'm getting like 10 text messages a day. We need money. We need money. We're running out of money. I'm like,
yeah,
well, where's all this money that was raised? Like she
Right.
raised $1 million.
Right. They had rides to the seniors had rides to free rides. They had the lift and all that kind of stuff, but then they had free ride. Her campaign had free rides to the polls.
yeah.
Yeah.
This her specific campaign.
Yeah.
I was
And
like,
even when we were like canvassing,
mhm,
we had buses coming from different points here in Connecticut that would take you into Pennsylvania. I had offers to
that's right.
fly out to Arizona and North Carolina to go and canvass.
Right.
So they had a lot of money and support. But at the end of the day, whatever the other side had was way more than what we thought they had in terms of participation,
Which means
support,
they hide it.
funds.
So that means that's very to hide, to be able to just hide it, because the more they think that it's more like that, you have to use deceit and a very strategic, organized, just like we have organized ways of doing things, whether for the good or bad. There had to be a very secretive syndicate put together to undermine the potential of what they were doing. That took, but you got to keep in mind, he had 2 years to put that together.
Exactly.
He's not.
And look who he also had behind him. The Elon Musk of the world, who control, the Twitters and, all of these communications.
Y'all heard me tell you about the school board, right? And then I'm going to get down because I started getting headaches. This election has really taken a toll on me, you guys. I'll be honest. And just a little talk, I'm gonna get down. But I don't know if anyone's listening. I want to tell y'all, my daughter being in AP, well, at her school, just board education worldwide. It has nothing to do with her being in AP English or not. But when the election started, she was gonna run. One of the assignments for the class was like, hey, the teacher's like, hey, you guys pull up anything y'all want to about this election, what you think, what you would do if it was you running for president, whatever. Everyone know, TC, the Library of Congress is a acceptable site for the school, anyone in school to go to. Things,
of course,
as a retired educator, receiving my LM teacher's retirement in full, okay, I know that they're going to block off, like you can't go to Netflix and you can't go on YouTube and you can't be looking up things that have nothing but no educational purpose. They block those from school computers. My daughter texted me and said, Mama, every time I type in Kamala Harris, the school says this name searching has been blocked. But when I go and type in the other person, I don't even like to say their name. When I go and type in his name, I can pull up anything, his full biography. So how am I supposed to my work? And I said, well, daughter, just use your phone. But the fact that the Board of Education that I once worked for had, how did they, and I'm going to dig into that. I'm going to be calling the superintendent, right? It was so close that, because I wasn't going to get an answer soon enough. I'm going to call and find out. I'm going to ask her when she goes back, see if they still got her blocked.
Right.
Who had the authority to go in there and block this woman's name, who's in the library, who's the vice president of the United States,
exactly,
off of being in the search engine for the entire school state, all around the state, not just like at a one little small school, the entire state. They could not search her name. That is hate, you guys. That is so somebody in IT or whoever this said, hey, we're gonna block her name. That's just being so mean and so cruel. Okay, like who's working IT and did that? I'm gonna be calling, and that's one of the things I'm gonna be complaining about. Who blocked who's the person that goes in, types in this person's name. We don't want people pulling up. I'm going to be doing,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to get tired of me calling until I finally get some type of answer that's satisfactory, even if it's not what I want to hear. How did
Mm-hmm.
this happen this entire
Right.
time? Nobody
Mhm.
could look up her name, but
Mm-hmm.
they could look up another person's name for their schoolwork, for educational purposes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to keep in mind with them being in high school, even though they are registered to vote, some are 18 in high school now, they could
Right.
That's
look
right.
up anything. How dare
Mm-hmm.
you play with the board of education and use that as a tool to further your hate? How dare
Mm-hmm.
you? That's something I'm gonna be doing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Ray of Sunshine told you to screenshot and videotape it on her device as well.
very thank
Bougie.
you. Okay, thank you, Ray. So they can't go back
Yes.
and say
Yep.
no, that's not true. Thank you,
Mm-hmm.
because they haven't changed it that quick yet. That's one thing about people, they'll be slow. Thank you for telling me that, and I'm
There
gonna
you
let
go.
her know
That's
that.
right.
I
Yeah.
want her that screen record every time you type it in,
Mm-hmm.
what it says, and then go type in the other party's name and watch what happens. And then I'm going to use that. Thank you for that tip, because I forget
Mhm.
sometimes
Yep.
to be able to show what you're saying, because people will go back and undo what they did. But no,
Of course.
Exactly. And be like, oh no, this she must have typed it wrong. Here it is, right here.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for that tip, because I wasn't
Yeah.
thinking. We
That's
have
why I love my Bella Brigade, because we
I think
right.
that's a worthy. I think this is a worthy investigation.
Yeah.
And yes, make sure all of that evidence, keep it, compile it, and I guarantee you it will be useful.
Yep.
She
Yep.
got
That's disgraceful.
One
set up.
more thing I wanted to throw to you both, and also to everybody who's in the chat. Also, please, if you're in the chat or you're coming into the chat, make sure you thumbs up this video and share it out so that others can also partake in this discussion, either now or once this live is over, and comment in the comment section. That really helps the channel out, and that really helps just keep the dialogue going, which I think is paramount now in what we're facing right now. The other thing I wanted to ask you all was about the popular vote. Like, okay, she didn't get the electoral votes that we kind of thought she would get, but how did she lose the popular vote?
Brown girl Bella.
Right? Right? I was stuck on that one. I was stuck on that one.
You don't understand. I've been trying to figure this out. My math and that math are
Ain't
not.
nothing, right?
They
It's
ain't
not
mathing.
nothing.
Okay.
It's not nothing. How
And
in the world did that happen? The popular vote?
I don't have the answer.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
I
that's
feel like
that's the
we're owed
question.
an answer. We're owed an answer. I
Absolutely.
mean, I was telling my bestie, I was like, I really wish she would have asked for a recount. And she was like, well, she didn't win the popular vote either. So, what sense, what good would a recount do? But I was like, there's just so many what happens and what if, and all of these kind of things that were ambiguous throughout the campaign, but especially during the election on Tuesday, like those tens of thousands of votes that they couldn't adjudicate, like the ballot boxes that were
That were on fire.
Like, what was
Right. What happened to that?
what happened to those ballots?
That's why. That's why.
The ones that were unlocked, whatever happened to remember the ballot box that was unlocked, and
Yes.
they said, okay, how did that just be unlocked and no one noticed it till set 8:00 tonight that there's a ballot box unlocked?
Because all of those things were collected in those, and you saw them on TV, these big yellow bags that had locks on them, and they were sit in a particular place, and they were not opened until election time.
That's right, exactly, and that's the protocol. However, I'm like I said, in that voting commissioner's office, or whoever's in charge. Like for us, it's the voting commissioner and the sheriff department. Those are the two entities that the sheriff transports the mail or the ballots from one to the other, to the commissioner's office, to the warehouse, and then in the warehouse, that's when they do the count, and then they count again.
Right.
And there is a process. However, I can see where within just one step that a whole kerfuffle can occur, where you could lose everything.
Yeah.
Duh. How did that happen? Where did that go?
Where did that come from? I get it, got in line. People are allowed to change their minds. People are allowed to say, you know what, now that I'm here and it's go time, maybe I go for him for whatever reason they think. But for it to show up the way it showed up, and for the numbers to do what the numbers did, it just is not ringing true to me. It's not ringing true to me. Something is missing that we are all, when we finally figure it out, we're all
Right.
gonna be like, it's gonna be huge, because I know we're missing something. I know
And
it.
we're all not feeling this way just by happenstance.
Yeah.
Trust me, everybody. I mean, in my gut, I'm like, and I can't lose it.
Right.
You understand me?
Right.
I have too many people. I can't lose it. So but deep down inside, I'm like, no, is something is intrinsically, and I'm saying intrinsically, meaning that is system is the people on the inside, and that mess.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
The pettiness. You
Yeah.
said it. You and Beach said it earlier. That I mean, that was an hour ago. But look, what are they still mad?
Yeah.
You know, it's written somewhere, woe to you who use dishonest scales. And, you know, standing for the organizations that I stand for, standing for Alpha Kappa Alpha, those scales mean a lot. They mean a lot more than I could ever publicly, announce on a social platform. But I can assure you all this. This is just not going to go brushing itself away. People about to start digging because we are obligated to dig.
Yeah.
Those scales mean something. And Bella, it's going, like I said, one way or the other. However it takes, and they really have underestimated Kamala's intelligence. Okay, she didn't get this far by being a slow woman and by the rumors that they put out, how she got to where she's at. So I'm gonna take a guess and say, using hindsight, being VP for that long, once I saw, oh my gosh, what people were doing, and realizing this snake has so many heads, even if I chop this one off, these are going to grow.
Another one's going to come up.
I'm going to have to come back, and now I'm going to have to work a different angle. I may have to come up with my own type of thing where it's very an elite group of people, and we are going to dig out the things that nothing's that, that's just not buried. And if nothing else, give the people a right to know that your vote didn't count. I mean, your vote was supposed to count, but they didn't count it. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, she knows she's nobody's fool. She's been in that office for long enough.
And she's in the political arena for long enough.
Correct.
She knows what's going on, but I feel like there's another shoe that's gonna drop.
Absolutely.
There's definitely another shoe that's gonna drop.
Absolutely.
I just don't know what that shoe is. And it leaves me a little uneasy. And I tell you, I've had just stomach issues since Tuesday. I mean, my stomach still is in knots over this whole thing. Hey, my TT's in the house. Everybody say hello to my TT.
Hey, TT, Miss Wendy.
So yeah, I feel like there's definitely another shoe that's going to fall. And
Mhm.
I don't know what that shoe is, but I guarantee you there's going to be some light shed on this. Like we see the exit polls and we see the math that wasn't mathing. We see the people that said that they were going to support that clearly did not. We see that, right?
Yes.
So now we know how we need to move, right? We need to move as one unit. Everybody
Mhm.
that's for us, get in this line because these are the people that are for us and for our agenda. And the people who are not here, the people who are not standing here with us, they're on that other side. And we
Mhm.
need to treat them as such. We need to
There you go.
let our collective buying power and spending power make some noise to the people who we
Mhm.
need to make noise for.
Mhm.
But sometimes, you know,
I
you can
agree.
say it till you're blue in the face, but when you put some greenbacks behind that and people start losing money and losing support,
Right.
Right.
Going
then
back to
it's
publicly
something
looking up.
entirely different. Then they have to take you seriously.
And let me say this, by no means or stretch of the imagination am I at all supporting what we call doxing over here at Brown Girls Bella platform. I simply, when I brought up it being public information, I was stating for myself and what I have full intentions of doing and I'm going to be doing. Anyone who has been in my face, pretending, supporting, you know, all the rah-rah, and I go put their name in, and it's telling me they've been the opposite, I will call it out. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
should. I'm going to do that. I don't care how long it takes. I know there are some people, and like I said, I'm completely side eyeing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, completely side eyeing. I don't care what their reasons are. I can do my own, and somebody can do it for me too. Go
Mm-hmm.
right ahead. Plug it on in there. See what you're gonna get. You're gonna get exactly what I've been serving, exactly how I felt. Because if not, then I just wouldn't. I mean, you know,
Right.
I don't see the point. I'm not going to be playing roles and playing parts and playing with people's lives. I just don't do that. But for the people who are, yeah, I think now a lot of folks are going to be. They want to see which people were out here doing the most TikToks and the most reels and the most, you know, all the skits and all this stuff, and they actually go put that name in and say, you liar.
Right.
You didn't even got like you
You
didn't
didn't even vote. How about
you
that? You
getting
didn't even vote.
500,000 likes on Instagram. You didn't even go down there. Like what did
Mm-hmm.
you? So you just wearing somebody else's sticker? Like I really think they should be called out
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's giving totally fugazi. Something
Mm-hmm.
like there's no way there was a lot of support, but like Bella said, there had to be more on the other end. So y'all was that quiet. Y'all don't give me. I mean, I guess they, you know.
Right.
Were they really being quiet or were they really being loud? But they were just making us think they were being loud for her, and it was really the
Right.
other way to make it to throw it off, and where because that would
Mm-hmm.
mislead people. They were like, "Oh, she got a lot of people. She gonna be good, honey. She got Oprah. She got Beyonce. She got uh LeBron James. She gonna be good." There's a lot of people who will actually sit and think there's plenty of support. Why do I need to go? No, you need to go anyway. There's no support because like as you said, every vote that you don't do, it goes to help the other party.
There you
Right.
There
go.
are people, you know,
That
and I
part.
know they say we shouldn't fall out over people are saying friendships shouldn't fall out, things like that. Listen, if you're going, I can't attach myself to anybody being so ignorant that they wouldn't even take the time, especially where I live and how I know you could have just walked in on your way home. You didn't even have to wait into a line because I know where the poll locations were. I know which ride, the few rides I did give. I was trying to do the 4 for 4. Bells understand that, you know, basically there was no reason for you to not go in there for
Right.
the sake of your children coming up, just for the fact that it's your right and because you just were like because you couldn't do that, like you have no legitimate reason. I don't I can't look at you the same because I
Right.
don't understand where in your head
Right.
did you think that would. I just don't. I'm sorry. I just can't be
Yeah.
associated. You're not for your own self. You don't even believe in yourself or your people
Right.
or the world, or like you don't, or in me as a woman. That
Right.
goes for some of my male supporters. Get
Mm-hmm.
back up from me. Okay,
Mhm.
back your misogyny ass away from me. I don't want your support. Sorry about that. But back it away from me because that's how you really feel. Don't come
Yeah.
back over here. Somebody done already got blocked. Already came up in there talking that red ban. They didn't even get blocked. I banned them. Okay, and I don't even know
Mhm.
how to unban a person. So once you done
Mhm.
got banned, you just gonna be banned. Okay, because I don't know how to unban from
And
StreamYard.
it's the same way, and it's the same way, Beach, like I just said, the same way with, people coming and asking. I already told a couple of people, did you vote? Because here it is that there are people whose parents, grandparents do vote, put in the system, and yeah, I believe that they deserve to, have an opportunity, or those children deserve an opportunity to get as much financial or resources and assistance, whatever it may be, as
Mhm.
possible. But if you don't put in, you cannot get out.
That's
And that's just it from here on out.
it.
And I'm with you on it. I'm gonna have to what do you call it? Narrow my circle, or
Mhm.
smallen,
Tight circle,
Yeah.
tight
lessen my
circle.
circle. Because
Mhm.
everybody, no, I was, you can't throw pearls to swine. Okay,
And
Exactly.
we say
pardon the
that,
pardon the
y'all.
pun, but we're not going to throw pearls to
A
swine
wash pit and go
anymore.
back and roll
Mhm.
around in the mud again. I'm done. Look. It is what it is. Okay,
Mhm.
we're not giving up. We're not throwing no more pearls. Don't even come over here. No, you're not sitting at our table. Go over
Mhm.
there. Go
Mhm.
see. Go and see how they want you to sit with them over there. Don't come over here. They don't deserve to sit with us. They
No.
don't,
Yeah.
because you're not for, like, I can't. I'm sorry. I really have cut some people off, you guys.
Mhm.
They may not know it because I didn't have to verbally express it, but
Mhm.
in my mindset and in my way of moving, they've been cut out of my life. They just don't
Mhm.
know it yet. They won't
Yeah,
know
they'll
why.
find out. Like as my grandmother used to say, you don't listen, you must feel.
Right. Oh,
Mm,
that's a good one. You didn't
So
listen.
if
I
you
gotta make
don't listen,
you
you
feel.
must feel it.
You
Okay,
want
because that's the
all
only way
caring
you're going
about.
to actually retain it is if you feel it. I want to leave y'all with one more thing, because I know we went way over time, and I appreciate the dialogue. I appreciate you guys chatting and talking in the chat, and of course, I appreciate my two guests here. But I want to leave y'all with one more thing, and Beachy brought this up very apropos to me, talking about who can have a seat at our table, and in looking at who supported and who didn't support, and who said that they were going to support and didn't support. There's another factor that we didn't actually talk about, and we're out of time tonight to talk about, but I want you guys to think about it. And maybe next week we'll come on and we'll talk about it and dig into it a little more, because now
Mm.
that the dialogue started, it doesn't stop.
Right.
We
This is,
need to
yeah.
continue. We need to
I'll be happy to
continue.
come back for part two.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Um,
I'm glad you did this because I wasn't, the next time I come out, I was just going to be going somewhere else and not even giving what I wanted to give. So I'm
mhm,
glad that you did, because it kind of gave, okay, it took off the, look, that big sister came through. But I had already said that after this election, I'm going to be rebranding. Those for several reasons, but now more than ever,
mhm,
you don't need to be coming over. Listen, don't bring yourself in my presence.
mhm,
If
mhm,
you, I don't care if there's one person there. I'm going to stick to what I'm saying, what I meant. It's
mhm.
very obvious.
Right.
I'm going to be doing some things completely different. I just have seen I saw way too much hate. And like I said, when I saw the coin flip,
Mhm.
right when it was like, you just took off your blue sweatshirt, girl, and already had a red under there, so you're for
Yeah.
nobody, so you're just for the winner. What type of
Yeah.
person are, who says I'm for whoever wins? You don't deserve. Why are you
wow,
here?
wow.
Right.
I'm for whoever wins.
Right.
That's not how you live your life. And so
Exactly.
then you're for nobody, and that
Right.
makes you a loser. And I'm gonna digress on that and let Bella in her show. You're a loser if you are for whoever wins.
That's right.
A person who stands on nothing. Where is your principle? You have nothing to stand on except for who won, so you can be clapping for the win. That is the worst strategy I have ever heard in
Yeah.
my entire life.
You
Whoever was
got to
that
stand for
support.
something or else you're going to fall for anything. And so, there are whole fractions that this kind of applies to. But what I want to have you guys think about and come back maybe next week, we'll do part two, like was suggested. But think about the Latino community and how many Latino women and men who said that they stood for us, who said that they were fighting with us, who said that they were in the trenches with us. And then when you look at those exit poll numbers, they were right up there with Caucasian women and men.
Right.
So
Okay.
how do we rectify that? How do we wrap our heads around that? I know there's a whole, other thing that comes with that, and we'll delve into that next week. But I want to leave you all with this. If you don't stand for something, whatever that one thing is, stand for it. Stand 10 toes down for it. And the fight does not stop just because the election is over. We still have midterms. We still have a president who is going to be taking office in January that there were a lot of people who don't approve of him, right? We have a potential House and Senate who are going to be run by that same party. So we're going to be outnumbered and outgunned when it comes to 2025 and what is going to be put in place. And so the time is now to stand for something. If you are against what the policies are that these people are going to be put in place, don't stand around and wring your hands and woe is me. That time is done.
Right.
Time is now to roll up your sleeves, pull up those bootstraps, and let's get to work.
Get to work.
A
There
lot
it
of
is.
work to do.
You know what? Beach said something that was so important, and that is, and I've seen people start doing it actually here in these little small YouTube streets, and that is, I'm seeing people starting to rebrand.
Mm-hmm.
That is 90%.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, and what's going to happen is that, like anything, it's like you heighten you put your frequency at another level, and of course then you don't live in doubt, you don't live in fear, and
Mm-hmm.
you, like you say, you do your work, and then what you do is you're going to start attracting certain kind of folks to you, and you're
Mm-hmm.
going to be able to take this little part of your world, your life, to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Just the same way that you rebrand in your YouTube streets or your channels, we
Mm-hmm.
rebrand in life. Even animals shed their skin and then they get new skin. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and same thing with us. We shed and we get our newness, born again.
Mm-hmm.
So folks, get right or you're gonna go left, and that's just the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
rebrand yourself. Start thinking about things that you can do not only for you, but now think of somebody else other than yourself.
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
and I'm gonna go down, and I'm gonna let you two wrap it on up. And I appreciate the conversation. I have a
Thank
lot to
you.
say. I have a lot to say
I know.
about the immigration and
Yes.
the
Yes.
Spanish community,
Mm-hmm.
the European, and everybody. So yeah, if you have it,
Yeah.
God willing, I will be here.
Thank
Okay.
you. I appreciate that, TC. And as always, thank you for, again, smart conversation, you and Beachy both. Everybody in the comments, God Alliance said we're in the fight for our lives and we have to fight harder. If you stand for nothing, you will fall for anything. That's right.
All right.
Ray of Sunshine
Thank
says
you.
attract the change you want to see.
Yes,
We're
Ray,
not
Ray
playing.
of Sunshine.
And I'm
And
gonna
Mama
use
and
that
Titi, good
tip.
night.
I
Mhm.
promise you guys, I'm gonna use that tip about recording the computer on the search, and
Yes.
I'm gonna keep you posted. I'm gonna let you know what happened because they haven't ran that quick
Yeah.
and released it. They're too busy celebrating their victory.
Mhm.
So while I still have time, I'm not gonna just let my daughter do it. I've got a couple of little what I call cutie pies, and they're the little group of girls I mentor that are
Mhm.
high school that are upcoming, undergrad.
So rude.
Okay. Okay.
People that the cutie pies, and they
That's
love us,
right.
they support us. I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna get my whole little group of girls, and I'm gonna have them like, girls, we gotta work. I
Yes.
need y'all to pull y'all phone out. I need not just coming from my phone. I want to see all of you all go into search, and I'm gonna get my,
Mm.
and
Mhm.
they want to do that. That's why some of them, they didn't even go to school, you guys. Wednesday, we kept our daughters home. They were so broken heart. They were like, we don't understand.
Right.
Wow.
Wait, how can there be this much hate? It really, they felt that hate, like, and the way how it's been, the racist things that have been going on to schools. Like, how can this be? They're feeling the things that overload. So I'm like, stay home. I'll send a note for your mental health. You're not going up in there to hear what. I don't want you to even see it. You need at least
Right.
a day, and then you can
Right.
go back. And it's still not. It's a little bit. They're down. These
Yeah.
girls, the
Wow.
younger, y'all should see them. I mean, they're feeling that they don't understand. Like,
Mhm.
what more do we have to do? So
Mhm.
I'm gonna do
Mhm.
what I can, and I'm gonna get some footage of go in and do this and let's see what happened. They're happy to help. You'll be surprised. These little girls are happy.
I think this is gonna be epic, Beach. Do this thing right, because you might be on to something.
Right. Blocked from the entire Board of Education across
That's
the entire state.
crazy.
Across the entire state, TC, not just
It's crazy.
like it was. I was like, wait a second. Who is running in that? So I'm gonna be calling. Like, I just want to know. First, I'm gonna call and do my Becky voice or Amanda and be like, who's the person that puts in charge? What our students are able to see and not, like, how does that work? I'm gonna play. I got a couple of cards I can play. Look, I can switch it, turn it on and off too. And once I get to that place, then I have direct contact to the superintendent, and I'm going to express to him, his daughter and my daughter are friends, so I'm going to go straight to
Mm.
him and say, did you know, I don't know if you know they were doing this, but
Right.
they were, and I'm putting it in your ear as a friend, as a parent,
Mhm.
birthday parties, and that this was somebody at the board that you are the superintendent of was blocking out her name. They couldn't even do their work with that.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm gonna work it, you guys, and I'll keep you posted.
Yeah.
Wow. Dang.
All right.
Going.
Well, good
All
night.
right
Thank you
now.
so much, TC. Bella, let
Good
me know
night.
in your show. Thank you for having me up, and
Yes.
thank you,
Thank
Chad.
you. Thank you, ladies. I
All right
appreciate
now. Good night.
it.
Good night to the chat.
Good
And good
night.
night to the Poochie.
You see her, right? She over here
She's
on
been
it.
good. She was good
No, she
until
over here
like
on
5 minutes.
it. Mm-hmm.
Until
Because she
five
wants me to
minutes.
stop. Yeah, she wants me to stop typing and talking to y'all. So she's
Right. She
all over
look,
here bothering me.
Lord, let me go so you can go because
Exactly.
too
Um,
bye.
Bye. All right, guys. Thank you so much, as I said before, for coming in, for chatting with us about this. Like I said, we've got a lot of miles to cover before we rest, and we've got a lot of work to do. So this won't be the last time that we have this conversation, but I'm so glad that we started it today. I hope you feel a little bit better. Knowing what we need to do. I certainly feel a little bit better. And hopefully with all of us pitching in and helping out and more to be added to the fold, we can make some real change happen so that this does not occur again on our watch. I thank you for joining. I thank you for hanging out. As I said before, please make sure that you thumbs up this video, share it out to your friends, to your foes, to all you know, and tell them that Brown Girl Bella is the place to be for not only beauty and makeup and stuff, but real grown folk conversation on Thursday nights. So I thank you for sharing this time with me. And until next time, you have now been vilified. Love to all. Say bye, Dream. Say bye to everybody. Say bye. Bye. You get your mama back now, right? You happy about that?